lakes. And then you can look at the position of Finland as I go to the rest of the world. So this is the map of Finland, so please pass it on to your neighbours. Only, as I said, I only have one of these. And now you look at the area. We're in the very south now. The city of Helsinki at 60 degrees latitude. So from here to the north, it's another 900 miles. So in the east, we border Russia. So all this border in the east is all the way around Russia. And only in the north, we border Sweden and Norway. So we have 3 land neighbours. And look at the landscape. I said, like I told you, we have 300,000 islands. So if you look at it on the coastal line, you see thousands and thousands of islands of the shore of Finland. And if you look inland, you see all the blue you see are the lakes, and a lot of them are interconnected. So we have, when I said 200,000 lakes, it's only large ones. So over 500 square meter ones. We've got lakes. So imagine with all the little ponds and all, so it's well over 1 million. So I'm going to pass it. Also look at the pictures. You see the contrast. You see the contrast in Finland. And officially the old restaurant, and they charge you double the price for the for the pleasure eating there, because they said, well, we'll do all this, so you're free to go there. So if you have time for that. And this is the Esplanade. Now normally in the afternoon around the city, you see a lot of people. Now it's raining, of course. You see a lot of people sitting down here, enjoying drink or sandwiches and so on. So it's very popular picnic area on your left, and on your right hand side is the design district of Helsinki. So all these buildings here are part of the design district. Lots of boutiques, shops, stores of design. And the one you see on the right now is Marimekko. And probably a lot of you know the name Marimekko. It's one of the biggest brands in Finland. So it's a closed store. And for instance, I know that Jacqueline Kennedy, back in the days, used to come to Finland especially to shop. So she actually made the name for Marimekko. And a lot of Scandinavian design is really popular. Of course, you all know IKEA, which is Swedish, not Finnish, but still. And Finnish, Swedish, Danish, Scandinavian design is really making big impacts in the world right now. So a lot of design shops are here. And also in 2012, just 2 years ago, we celebrated Helsinki being 200 years being a capital. And it was also at the same time it was the design capital of the world. So if you see those design, you've probably seen those red design chairs, and that's part of the design year 2012. Now I told you Finland is a bilingual country. The building on your left, the white building, is a Swedish theatre. So all the Swedish-speaking people go there. So all the performances, all the plays take place in Swedish. And like I said, Finnish is very different to Russian, very different to Swedish. Finnish is a very difficult language in itself, and only remotely similar to Estonian and Hungarian. But it's still a phonetic language. So you saw the statue in the church, to Michael recall, that's the person who came up with the written Finnish language. So we live in the historical architectural part of Helsinki and moving towards the commercial part of the city. And moving to the street of Mannerheim, and it's the longest street in Helsinki. Like at the Nevsky Prospect in St. Petersburg, so we have the Mannerheim streets. And it's named after the famous Finnish general, Carl Gustav Mannerheim, who's pretty much responsible for Finland keeping independence from the Soviet Union during the Second World War. So right now we're on the Mannerheim Street, and on your right, the brick on your right, the red brick building is the oldest department store, the oldest and biggest by far. So anything you can buy, pretty much anything from here, Stockman, electronics, food, and so on. And I thought we were very, because we're such a water-based society, we eat a lot of fish. Of course, we have delicacies such as reindeer meat. We have reindeer meat with cranberry sauce. We have moose, there, no, but those are more delicacies. You don't need them every day. And we just passed the statue. There was 3 smiths right side behind us. The 3 naked smiths. Now people always ask me, why do you have so many naked statues in Finland? And the reason for that is because Finnish people, we don't have any hang-ups about nudity. Imagine we lived in this rural society, by the lakes, in the forest, hunting and so on. So we don't have any hang-ups about that. In Finland, the biggest thing about Finland, of course, is sauna. So actually the word sauna, pronounced sauna, is a Finnish word. So Finnish people come up with this invention. And some of you have probably been to sauna, right? So sauna, you throw water on the rocks, it gets really hot and steamy. And then what Finnish people do as well, especially in the summer, they pick up birch branches of the tree, and they pull them into a twig and kind of beat each other, pummel each other with the twigs and themselves. And I know it looks very funny, but apparently it has some medicinal effects. It's really good for blood circulation. So imagine Finnish countryside in the summer. There's normally always a sauna by the lake, and you have a lot of space for everyone. So like there's one lake for every 25 persons in Finland. So you have a sauna by the side of the lake. Summer camp is a bit further away, but the sauna is right by the lake. So Finnish people, men, women, different families going to sauna naked. No hang-ups about that. So we're very simple people, you know, with the birch twigs. So this really looks pretty funny. Everyone powers each other with the birch twigs, and then people run out, you know, with steam coming off his skin, jumping in the lake, go skin dipping. And Finland is one of the cleanest, least polluted countries in Europe. So we have very clean nature. So tap water, for instance, tap water in Finland is drinkable anywhere. And the water in the lakes, I mean, I've drunk stuff. Of course, you have to boil it. I mean, I've drunk the lake was many times, and I've turned out fine. Some people might disagree, but yeah, it's very clean country because up until 1900s, when Finland, 1917 is when Finland became independent, it was very rural society. 90% of people lived in the forest by the lakes. So the whole urbanization, the industrialization took place quite late in history compared to the United States, to Britain, and so on. So and also Finnish people do care about the nature. That's why Finland definitely is one of the cleanest countries in the world, the least polluted. Of course, we have severe fine for polluting, and also with 5 million population, it's easy to control. Make sure that there's no ecological pollution happening. But like I said, sauna is very important to Finnish people. In every single building, there'll be sauna. Okay, if you're lucky enough, you have an apartment where there is a sauna. But if you don't, not everyone can afford it. In every apartment building, there'll be a sauna, at least one sauna downstairs in the basements, with a storage room and all. So you can actually have a rota. So you put your name down for certain times, certain slots during the week. You can go to have a sauna, and sauna is so symbolic to Finnish society. It's so important that it's said that when a Finnish family, a Finnish man decides to build a house, it starts with a sauna. So sauna, and everything in the kitchen and all this around us. So sauna is so essential. And mind you, we have winter here for half a year, ice and snow. So it's one thing that keeps us going. But have you noticed trams there? Like I said, Finland's the only, Helsinki is the only place in Finland they have trams and underground subway, metro. We have a really good public transport system, and I said we're lowest crime rate, but Finland is the 3rd least corrupted country in the world. And we have the 5th most competitive economy in the world. And that's considering we don't have any natural resources. We don't have oil, gas, everything has to be imported from other countries. Oil and gas mainly from Russia and other resources. Our biggest trade partners are Sweden, Germany, Russia, China and the United States. So, but pretty much we have to import all the raw materials because we don't have any. The only thing we have a lot of water, a lot of timber. That's the only thing we have, the green gold, the forest. And nevertheless, managed to do quite well. Finland was a very poor country 100 years ago, but now we're among one country with the highest standards of living. So we have highest social welfare. I'll talk about it later. We do have free education. So also the university business, education in Finland is free. It's quite hard to get into university, and you cannot buy your way into university. That much money, doesn't matter how much money you have. Not even millions can get to university. You have to go through entrance exams, so it's mandatory for everyone. And once you get in, then of course the university education is free for you. And by the way, on the right, we're passing the statue of Mannerheim, Carl Gustav Mannerheim. I'll tell more about him later. It's so essential. He's as big as, say, Peter the Great for Russia or George Washington for the United States. And behind the statue on your right is Kiasma. It's a modern art museum built by the American architect Albert Hall only about 15 years ago. And you also the government building. That's where the Prime Minister and 14 other ministers are. And this now on your left is the Parliament building. So the Parliament building is right there. And this is all the members of Parliament are. When they're in session, the flag will be on top of the building. So on the left is the Parliament building. And the thing about Finnish Parliament and the Finnish political system, we used to have a really strong president for most of our history, and the president had way too much power. At some point, the president even had the power to disband the parliament, which he did, by the way. The post-war president Urho Kekkonen did it on a few occasions. And now the power's been taken away from president. So it's been decided that there's too much concentration of power in the hands of one person. So what they did, they gave the power to the Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Ministers of the government. And we have multi-political system, so we have 12 multi-party. We have multi-party system, so we have 12 political parties. So the power is fairly shared in this country. So the Kyltbeja statue on the left and the building, this is the National Museum of History of Finland. And on the right is the Finlandia Hall, used for not only concerts, symposiums, but also for a lot of international meetings took place. Because Helsinki, as we know, during time, especially during the time of the Cold War, was a very, very popular place for the opposing parties in the Cold War to meet and host negotiations. And just a few words about the political system. Like I said, we have a parliamentary elections every 4 years, so everybody at the age of 18 is allowed to vote. Not mandatory, but I'd say about 70 to 75% is the average turnout for the parliamentary elections. So 200 members being elected, and this is a popular vote. And we have 12, as I said, 12 political parties. With the Olympic Stadium, which is number 19 on your maps. And now, I just said about the relation of Finnish people to sports. One thing you have to understand about Finnish people, when you probably come to Finland, you read up on something in Finland, and probably somewhere it said that Finland has 4 distinctive seasons. Now, I'll say that's not true. We have about 8-9 months of winter, and we have about another 3 months of less snow winter, which we call summer. So, literally, that's our season. So, Finnish people, the life, the mentality, and personality of Finnish people is extremely bipolar. So we have the winter for about 6, 7, 8 months. Nobody talks. People are really grumpy. Introverts, unsociable. If you get, like, for instance, I used to live outside the city centre, and I used to take a bus to come to the town centre for work, or a train. And imagine on a train, a local commuter train, there'd be like 400 or 500 people on the train, and nobody talks. It's quiet. Imagine 400 or 500 people, and it's quiet. It's like being at a funeral, complete silence, and nobody talks. And for instance, if you're sitting by the seat by the aisle, and there's a window seat still being available, a Finnish person will come and get on the train, they'll look at the seat, they won't even bother you to ask. They'll be looking and giving you evil eye, but they won't open their mouths asking, could you please move, or can I take the seat? So I'll be standing over you. So Finnish people are extremely unsociable in the summertime, and very quiet as well. So, and very, very introverted. And there's even jokes that Finnish people don't understand such a concept as awkward silence, because in Finland there's just silence, and we don't have such a concept. It's never awkward. And I know I might be exaggerating a bit, but I know friends of mine have been telling me stories that when they leave the building, they live in a sort of apartment building. When they leave the building, so they shut the door, come out, and waiting for the elevator to take them down, and they can hear the neighbor breathe behind the door. So the neighbor is waiting for you to leave, so he wouldn't have to say hello to you. So it's true though. So extremely innovative. But now we change in the summertime. When it comes to sports, drinking, or the summer, we change completely. So we're completely different variants. So in the summertime, especially when it's nice and sunny, which we had for a few days up until today, Finnish people change dramatically. So imagine all the feelings and emotions we keep inside, all comes like coming out like a volcano. So in the summertime we come out, and also when it comes to sports, and you can only guess what's the most popular sport in Finland. Ice hockey, of course, without cold winter. So ice hockey is by far the most important sport. So just to give you an example, we won the Ice Hockey World Championship on 2 occasions, in 1995 and in 2011, just 3 years ago. Now, having been part of Sweden for 700 years and part of Russia for over 100 years, you can imagine we always want to do one over them. So it's extreme fierce rivalry, and we have extreme love-hate relationship with Sweden especially. So when it comes to playing ice hockey, there's nothing sweeter than beating Sweden. So both time we won the Ice Hockey Championship, we managed to beat Sweden. So the last time, 3 years ago, we beat Sweden. Not only we beat them, we thrashed them 6-1. So imagine it was around about May, early May. It was still a bit cold, so people just coming out of the the winter mode, the hibernation, the coma. So Finnish people just waking up, and all of a sudden, bam, beat Sweden 6-1 to win only second world ice hockey championship. So, and imagine those reserved Finnish people who wouldn't look in the eyes, walking down, you know, not talking to everyone, avoiding eye contact, not talking or smiling. All of a sudden, start running through people running around half naked. The statue of Harvey Samandi, so the mermaid that became ladies, the symbol of Helsinki. Yeah, you saw some underwear there. That's not the worst that happens. So there's loads of bikinis left around now. So people were getting on the top of buses, tram stops, waving Finnish flags. All the cars were going around Helsinki, honking, waving Finnish flags. So for 2 days, the whole of Finland got chaotic. And I don't know, I'm surprised we didn't have any power cuts. I don't know who was running the country, because for 2 days, literally, like, everybody took to the streets. So you imagine we're such a small nation, and you like, with a small nation, you win something big, so it's really huge. So Finnish people literally live and die by sports, and ice hockey especially. So this is our next stop. This is the Olympic Stadium. So let's go outside, stretch our legs. And like I told you, we have the third most